These stars may look innocent now, but that wasn't always the case. They started out in handcuffs even before they were legal. Check out these celebrities who hit rock bottom before they became stars in the Hollywood sky. Before we jump into it, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the Taco for more great videos from us. Justin Bieber. Justin Bieber was arrested in January of 2014 and had to spend the night in jail. The Canadian pop star got pulled after his yellow Lamborghini was allegedly seen racing with another vehicle. Authorities claimed that Bieber was driving under the influence. To make things worse, he didn't have a valid driver's license either. At the time, Bieber was a not-so-sweet 18-year-old, but if you ask him about his run-ins with the law, he'd claim it was the police who were out to get him. He told Complex, "The police just wanted press." But Bieber swears he wasn't speeding or drag racing when he was pulled over. He even claims that he blew into the breathalyzer and he had a 0.01, so drinking wasn't really an issue either. So the only conclusion he could come up with was that the officers were out to get him. According to him, the cops wanted to get famous by arresting a celebrity. As you can imagine, this didn't sit well with the cops. They accused the Biebs of resisting arrest when he asked what he did wrong, but at least his overnight experience in jail wasn't that bad. Jenelle Evans. Teen Mom 2 star Jenelle Evans was arrested in 2010 when she was 18. She was charged with possession of a controlled substance and breaking and entering. Authorities found her and her then-boyfriend, Kiefer Delp, inside a vacant home. She was sentenced to 12 months probation in April 2011. She may have escaped jail back then, but unfortunately, this was not the last time she'd end up in the back of a police car. She ended up in handcuffs 7 more times, and 3 of those happened in 2013. In one of those instances, she was arrested after getting into a fight with her ex-fiancé, Nathan Griffith, according to Us Weekly. Apparently, Evans had gotten into a brawl with Griffith's new girlfriend. Aside from going all crazy ex-girlfriend on Griffith, some of her charges are related to driving without a license. The troubled MTV reality star's problems eventually forced her to give up primary custody of her son JayZ to her mother Barbara. Aaron Carter. In February 2008, Aaron Carter was pulled over for speeding in Kimball County, Texas. When cops searched his vehicle, they allegedly found 2 ounces of a controlled substance. He ended up being arrested again in 2017 in the state of Georgia. He was caught driving under the influence of a controlled substance. But did he own up to any of his mistakes? Well, much like other celebrities, Carter blames all of his arrests on fame. In fact, he went on Twitter to say that he was being targeted because he was a celebrity. According to People, Carter has been very vocal about the terrible stress that fame has put on him, but that was only made worse by his hiatal hernia diagnosis, which affects his appetite. So he asked both fans and haters to be kind, especially after he got so much smack for being so thin. He explained that his hiatal hernia makes it hard for him to swallow, which is why he ended up losing so much weight. He was diagnosed with the condition when he was 19, and it's been a roller coaster ride ever since. But Carter has a medical license for the controlled substance that led to his arrests. Still, some folks believe that Carter isn't really owning up to his substance abuse issues, which seem to be getting him into all kinds of trouble. Amber Portwood. The original Teen Mom star, Amber Portwood, was arrested in 2010 after she attacked her then-boyfriend, Gary Shirley. Apparently, an episode on the show prompted authorities to investigate Portwood, as she was truly abusive on camera too. She was 20 when she was charged on 3 counts of domestic violence, and she was eventually arrested again as she was in possession of controlled substances in June 2012. Eventually, she got a prison sentence of 5 years, but fortunately for her, she only served 17 months. The initial felony domestic battery charge also included child neglect charges. She had kicked, choked, and slapped Shirley in front of their daughter Leah. To say that Portwood had a complicated relationship with Shirley is an understatement. In fact, they were often on again, off again with their relationship. But when the scenes of her behavior aired on the reality series, people were livid and they demanded she pay for her actions. Over the years, Portwood has grown as an individual. During the reunion episode of Season 2, she apologized for her mistakes. Now Portwood's got a new man in her life named Andrew Glennon, who makes her very happy. Mark Wahlberg. Mark Wahlberg was arrested several times when he was young, but he was first charged with assault when he was only 15. The incident happened in 1988. Wahlberg was reportedly charged with attempted murder. And if that's not bad enough, he had also gotten into an altercation with 2 men while trying to steal beer. The future celebrity received a 2-year prison sentence for what he did, but he only served 45 days behind bars. Still, Wahlberg wanted to be officially forgiven for the incident, so he filed a pardon application. In the application, he admitted that he was hanging with the wrong crowd, but he felt that he had turned his life around. However, not everyone was willing to forgive and forget Wahlberg's past. Kristen Atwood was with a group of 4th grade students on a field trip in 1986. Wahlberg and a group of friends started shouting racial slurs at her and the other black students. Atwood told the Associated Press that she doesn't think Wahlberg should get pardoned for his crimes simply because he's a celebrity. And to really drive the point home, she added, "If you're a racist, you're always going to be a racist." So even as Wahlberg continues to look for redemption, it looks like others won't be offering forgiveness anytime soon. Jon Hamm. The Mad Men actor was 19 when he got involved in a hazing episode at the University of Texas. The incident occurred in 1990. Hamm and his fellow frat brothers were allegedly responsible for beating a Sigma Nu fraternity inductee. The pledge, Mark Allen Sanders, was roughed up quite a bit by Hamm and the other frat boys. The hazing was so bad that Sanders was left emotionally distraught. But the assault was so bad, he ended up needing medical care for the injuries he sustained. According to the 1991 lawsuit, Hamm was involved in the hazing from start to finish. Eventually, Hamm was charged with hazing, but the assault charges were dropped. He ended up receiving probation for his crime. To ensure that this wouldn't happen again, the University of Texas disbanded the Sigma Nu fraternity permanently. It's funny how Hamm ended up working on a show called Mad Men since his actions seemed really insane. And if you're asking how this incident didn't come to light earlier, well, that's because Hamm wasn't famous at the time. JayZ. When musician JayZ was 16, he was caught with a controlled substance in his pockets. In his autobiography book, Decoder, JayZ talks about growing up as a troubled youth. His dad left him when he was 11. He did his best in school, despite admitting that he rarely studied. Eventually, he dropped out and started dealing controlled substances. In the book, he talked about how he spent more than 13 years dealing before he got his act together. Back in the day, JayZ went through some trouble with the law, getting himself arrested at 16. The future musician got caught on campus, and it didn't take long for authorities to find that he was carrying more than loose change in his pockets. Fortunately, he had no prior arrests, so the cops released him, but they kept his stash. To avoid getting into trouble, JayZ had to deal for 3 days in a row. But he's come a long way since then. Now he's married to Beyonce, has 3 kids, and has a net worth of $900 million. Way to clean up your act. Dwayne Johnson. Dwayne Johnson is known for being a former WWE wrestler turned movie star. He starred in films like Baywatch, Rampage, and Skyscraper. He was even willing to wear a tutu for his hilarious role in the film Tooth Fairy. And how many wrestlers do you know who'd be willing to put themselves through that? But according to Men's Health, Johnson had some issues with the law at 16 that were, well, not fun at all. By the time he was 17, Johnson had been arrested a total of 9 times. At this point, his future wasn't looking so bright. But then a positive role model walked into his life and changed everything. Johnson claimed that his character Sean Porter in the Gridiron Gang was just like his childhood football coach. In the film, Porter, a probation officer, creates a prison yard football team to change the lives of the inmates. Many troubled youths get released from jail or prison but end up in trouble again. But fortunately, Johnson had the right inspiration to avoid a life behind bars, and look at him now. Bradley Cooper. Bradley Cooper may have seemed like the poster child of good behavior when he played Will on Alias, but the American Sniper star wasn't always an angel. While growing up in Pennsylvania, Cooper got himself into some trouble when he was 15. It might have happened at a friend's party or at a school event, but Cooper ended up getting caught with alcohol. He also got arrested for underage drinking, which didn't sit well with his Irish father and his Italian mother. Despite this teenage incident, he believes that it was his parents and his small-town upbringing that kept him from taking a dark path. But in an interview with The Hollywood Reporter, Cooper admitted that he has always struggled with sobriety. In fact, he claimed that he drank alcohol and used controlled substances on a regular basis. After having an epiphany, he decided to head down a new path towards sobriety. In the interview, he claimed that he has been sober since he was 29. He's 43 now and obviously doing more than okay. Danielle Virgo. You might know Danielle Virgo as the Cash Me Outside girl from Dr. Phil. The troubled teen mouthed off the catchphrase to an audience member back in 2016. Her saucy taunt was quickly turned into a meme which went viral. Virgo had no problem riding the wave of fame that she got from it, and soon enough, it even got her career as a rapper started. But it wasn't long before the troubled teen found herself in hot water. By the time she was 14, she ended up behind bars. She pled guilty to 4 charges which included 2 counts of grand theft, possession of a controlled substance, and filing a false police report. On different occasions, Virgo was accused of taking her mother's purse and car. She also went as far as to file a police report claiming her mother was using controlled controlled substances. But as it turns out, it was nothing but powdered sugar she had spread on the bathroom counter. Virgo reportedly cried when she was sentenced in Palm Beach County Court. She received probation for 5 years in 2017. Her dad, Ira Peskowitz, is a sheriff's deputy in Palm Beach. He asked Judge Lou Delgado to allow Virgo to carry out her probation in California, where she lived with her mother. Hey, apparently it never hurts having friends in high places. That's all for famous kids who are arrested before they were even legal. Have you ever done something when you were a teen that you regret? Let us know your story in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to The Taco for more amazing content.